Now, you did mention Hulk Hogan. I was not going to ask this, but dating back to one of your most famous promos, are you still coming for Hulk Hogan?
Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
As such a decorated trainer, what is the number one quality that you think makes a great wrestling trainer?
Can't judge a book by its cover. You know, I had one of my students, his name is Gustavo Mendoza, and he couldn't do a front roll. He couldn't do a left roll or a right roll. He just was the worst athlete in the world. But one day I gave him a shot, and he went out and did something in the ring that was so special. And from that day forward, he was like the guy. And I was like, wow, you know what I mean? So I learned not to judge a book by its cover, because this business is how much you want it. It's going to will you to go out there and do what you need to do in the middle of that ring to be the best. So I think that would be it.
One thing that really impresses me about WWE, despite the fact that they're on fire right now, they're doing record numbers. They sell out everywhere they're going, but they're not resting on their laurels. In fact, I counted, there's 5 branches of training in WWE. You got NXT, you've got LFG, of course, right now, but then you've got the NIL program, the WWID program, Evolve. What does it mean to you how invested WWE is in its future?
I love it. You know, now being a part of the ID program, you know, reality wrestling. Yeah, it's awesome to actually see that the next generation is being cultivated. I mean, they're actually being, mentored from a perspective to where if they really want to get to the next level, there's an avenue, there's a way. You know, when before, you was just rolling the dice trying to get in any way you possibly you could. I look at the NIL, program where these athletes are getting second chances at going out there and still being performers, and they're turning it into gold. I look at the Tiffany Strattons and the Obafemis and whatnot. And then I look at the ID program where so many independent wrestlers out there that are good enough to make it to this next level, and now being taught from a television perspective, not just an indie wrestling perspective. They may have a chance at making it to the next level and living out that dream as well. So for me to actually be a part of it at the same time, I'm living my best life. But this is something I talk to about wrestlers also. Preparation is the only luck you're ever going to have. I've been planning on this for the last 20 years, and I just happen to be getting in on the ground floor. So it's pretty awesome.
You are such a wealth of information and advice. And while WWE does have his finger on the pulse of so many avenues of upcoming pro wrestling, I feel like AEW is struggling with an opposite problem. What do you think AEW could do to build up its future? Because right now, if you look at the product, they're kind of relying on a lot of the current and older names in wrestling.
Well, I can tell you this. It's hard for me to say what they should do or anything like that, but I can tell you back when I was in WCW and things were just running, and everybody thought everything was good just because we were on television, kind of like what we may see with those guys. You could wake up one day and it could be all over it. So you better be thinking about what's next. You better be thinking about the future, just like I think we're thinking about right now with WWE, with so many programs trying to, think about the young talent out there that's going to be fueling this next generation. Because, and I say that because it's sports is a young person's business. And I say that with reality of wrestling, everybody's young because everybody that's a champion, they're young because it's hard to aspire to be 60. But you see a 20-year-old kid that's the champion at 14-year-olds, you say, man, I can be that. I can want to be that. And I think that's what's so cool with WWE right now. Everything is so young. Everything is so bright. Everything has a great feel to it. And it's making people gravitate like we haven't seen in so many years. So I think, you just can't, a promoter told me a long time ago, you just can't set up a tent and do wrestling.
You talk about these young stars and gravitating. I'm glad you said that, because coming out of this episode, I had so much heat with Braden Ray. That guy, not only did he seem to be the villain of that episode, but he kind of pissed off the trainers. Bubba Ray seemed like he wanted to fight him. But that hate and love is a good thing. So what do you make of Braden Ray? I don't know if you saw some of the comments he made in his interviews behind the scenes. What do you make of him and his prospects?
I can just tell you this. Stay tuned. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, God.
With this kid. And the thing is, I say sometimes you got to crack a nut with a sledgehammer. You know what I mean? It's hard for them to learn. Sometimes they got to learn the hard way. And BJ Ray, he's going to be one of those kids, perhaps, He's going to learn the hard way, or he's going to not learn at all. He's going to get it, or he's going to get along. It's going to be one of the two at the end of the day, because we're only going to take it for so long. We're only going to take it for so long before one of us snap. So I'd say keep watching, and you're going to see some clips and probably a lot of bonus clips as well when it comes to BJ Ray.
So what is without giving any spoilers away, what does your gut tell you about how far he's going to make this in this business?
Guys like BJ Ray is very, very unique. But we're in a different time now. I look at guys like Shawn Michaels. You could compare him to a BJ Ray, being a guy who was very, very hard to deal with, guy who had a very, very bad attitude, guy who wanted to do it his way and his way only, no matter what. But the thing was, Shawn was so talented. He's so talented. With guys like that, with the Bradys of the world, you let them do whatever the hell they want to do. You know what I mean? If BJ Ray can find himself in that position, he might can write his own ticket. We'll see. We'll see at the end of the day.
One of my favorite parts of the show is you get to kind of see that wrestler mind behind the scenes. And Bubba Ray gave this great advice where he was talking about getting a wrestler in a headlock. And when it's time to go to the ropes, you don't walk back to the ropes. You let them push you to the ropes. Make it look like a struggle, not a dance. What are some of the pet peeves you have as a wrestler that you see young wrestlers do, you see any wrestler do that you think, quote unquote, exposes the business?
Well, first of all, Bubba Ray stole a lot of my technique. Okay? I just want to put that out there. First and foremost. But I said it on my radio show that every wrestler that do the leg pop should be fired. Every one of them. Every wrestler that does that should be fired.
By leg pop, are you talking leg slap?
Yeah, the leg slap. Yeah, the leg slap, where they slap their leg, and a lot of them, they'll get hit and they'll slap their leg. It's just the craziest thing in the world. And they do it right in front of the fans, like the fans don't see it. It's the most disrespectful thing, I think, in all of professional wrestling, the leg slap. Now, if you could do it and get away with it properly, I don't care what you do, because I did things back in the day myself. But trust me, the fans didn't see it, and that's the art, of going out and being able to do our tricks. I don't think you're going to go to Vegas and go see the Mind Freak and he show you how he does his trick and you say, oh man, this was a great show. You're not going to do that. You want your disbelief to be expelled, and that's what professional wrestling is. And I think when the guys go out and do that, they totally disrespect not just themselves, but the fans that's watching them. They gotta fix that.
Yeah, that's a very contentious point. I hear that brought up with a lot of the wrestlers from certain generations, and even today about the leg slap. It's a very controversial move, and I completely understand, especially being somebody who loves Shawn Michaels. So.
Yeah, but Shawn only did it one time.
Exactly.
And the thing is, he did it from a perspective to where you wasn't even thinking about it, because he only did it one time. But nowadays it's just a common thing.
Now, you talked about disrespect this past weekend. Last weekend was the Royal Rumble. Charlotte and Jey Uso were the winners. You predicted Charlotte. Now, there was a lot of online backlash from the Royal Rumble. It didn't translate to real life with Jey Uso, but there were some boos for Charlotte Flair on Raw. What do you make of some of the backlash and passion from fans reacting to the Royal Rumble winners?
She used the Hulk Hogan. She just used the Hulk Hogan defense. And say she got booed because, she's a heel, which I think that's one of the reasons why Charlotte Flair got booed, because she come back and she's trying to play this role where she's nice. Everybody knows Charlotte Flair. She's the dirtiest player in the game. Perhaps they didn't agree with her winning the Rumble. But even more so coming to Raw, and still trying to play that role. I mean, it's that role is not going to work for her. I mean, she is truly, just like the old man. She's going to go out there, she's going to get it done by any means necessary. And the thing is, that's the way we want to see it from Charlotte Flair. We don't want to see Charlotte be nice. That's just not in her DNA. But I think that may have had a lot to do with it. But also with Jey Uso, he got a little backlash as well. Mm-hmm. Thing with that, you in this day and age with social media and everybody having an opinion, you're gonna have your haters, you're gonna have your detractors. You know what I mean? So you can't let the haters hate. That, you know, let them drink all the haterade they wanna drink. You know, because most of those haters, most of those people that are making those comments, they wish they they not hope, they wish they could be in your position. So I say, God, just keep doing your thing more than anything. Yeah.
Absolutely. A lot of that is jealousy. You always see that.
Most of it, I've been there. I've seen it. I've been a part of it. You know, people hate on me, and I like, but I'm not gonna hate on them. I'm not gonna post nothing negative, and I don't think Jay or Charlotte need to do anything, but just keep going out and doing what they're doing. I'm gonna tell you right now, Jay has done such a hell of a job. He's done such a hell of a job. He's a guy that's done it on both ends, though. He's done it in the ring as well as out of the ring. He's a guy that you're not gonna have to worry about him showing up on time. You're not gonna have to worry about him being able to do media. He's a guy that the company has grown to trust. That's why he won the Royal Rumble. You don't get in that position unless the company trusts you to be in that position. So he's done a hell of a job. He's done something that I never did, even though the company trusted me.
Now, you did mention Hulk Hogan. I was not going to ask this, but dating back to one of your most famous promos, are you still coming for Hulk Hogan?
Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
No, man. Hulk Hogan's coming for himself.
I think I was there in that building. He was. we were coming for Hulk Hogan in Inglewood.
That's still following me. Just think, that's what, just think about that for a second. That happened well before the internet.
Yeah.
So just think about what these guys like Jay and Charlotte got to deal with today.
Another clip that I still see going viral, that's actually one of my favorite Booker T moments that I see on my feeds all the time is, I don't know if you remember this, back in TNA when you were Black Snow and you were doing commentary, you get in the ring and you start commentating on your own beatdown. What do you remember about that? And what does it mean that people still love that moment?
I remember everything about that moment. Moments I remember. Wrestling, I don't. But me and Kevin Nash, Chet Lemon, we took over the show that night, and we did what we wanted to do, and that's an act that I've always wanted to do, was be able to commentate and do it at the same time, so I got a chance to do it. I always think about my TNA career. I thought it could have been a lot better. Thought I could have, worked a little bit harder. But some of the work that I did, it was some funny stuff. It was pretty good. Yeah.
No, it really was. And I think part of that is maybe you were goofing around a little bit, but it led to such great content and just unforgettable moments.
Yeah. Like I say, I loved it. I had a great time there. I love the relationship that we're having right now, with TNA.
Yes.
Also, with the NXT TNA relationship, being able to see a lot of those TNA guys that deserve a shot on the big stage. I'm pushing for so many of those guys, the Mooses of the world, to get a shot on the big stage, but just because I think some of those marquee matchups could be really, really cool. So man, it's been like I say, it's been a hell of a ride for me. Over 30 years I've been doing this, man. It doesn't seem like I've been doing it that long, but it doesn't seem like I've gone through so many different phases, but man, it's been a hell of a ride. Yeah,
your career dates back to one of my favorite tag teams ever in the Harlem Heat. If you were to have one more match with the Harlem Heat against a current tag team today, who would it be?
Probably against man, throw me some back tag team names.
You got right there in NXT the best tag team I think in the world, Axiom and Nate Frazier, Fraxium.
I wouldn't put Harlem Heat against those guys.
Okay,
it'd be such a disadvantage,
right.
Because Harlem Heat. Romping, stomping, grave digging, destruction. Big brother Stevie Ray, 6'5" tall.
Yes.
It would be such a disadvantage. Even though I know those guys, they're really, really good.
Viking War Raiders.
No, Creed brothers.
Creed brothers. I'd love that. Kind of like the Steiners.
You know what? It would be a Steiner throwback. And we can go out there and beat the hell out of both of those guys and show them what wrestling is truly all about. But Creed brothers, yeah.
Okay, so one of the final questions, it wasn't too long ago on NXT that Trick Williams invited Cody Rhodes to the Cookout. Which one of your trainers, whether it be Bubba Ray, Mickey James, Undertaker, are you inviting to the Cookout?
Probably be Mickey James.
Hey, any reason why?
Because, like I said, I have no, love lost for Bubba Ray, but, as well as the Undertaker, he's me and Mickey J. We got a history together. We've worked together, as well as Mickey and my wife is really, really close at the same time. So that's probably why she'll get invited.